What is going on? Welcome back here again with week 3 of the Ocarina of Time Standard Tournament Season 8 weekly wrap-up. I know this one came out a little bit later than usual. The reason for that was I wanted to go ahead and include qualifiers 7 through 10, and 10 just happened a couple hours ago for me, maybe 6 hours ago for me, and I actually did commentary on that one. I did that. I mean, it kind of helps with, you know, doing the recap and figuring everything out. So hopefully we got everything for you today. So a couple of changes is, one, I went ahead and made highlight videos of each runner that we are going to be showcasing today. And it's going to show very specific checks like bomb chews here on Talon's chickens, and those things that are kind of important in the seed. Songs, checks, hints, all those things are going to be included in all of these clips here. They're about 5 to 6 minutes roughly each. Sorry for that. So like Kokiri Forest Baronade, this is qualifier number 7 right here, and right in Kokiri Forest, the Storm's Grotto, you get the Rudos letter. So this is qualifier number 7. I personally played in this qualifier, and you know, if you just catch the jet on this one, the seed is great. Zora's River to King Dodongo. A lot of people, you start with the Graveyard is Foolish. Kakariko to Evil's Banes there, you get the light arrows, which is right there in Kakariko. There's the Dins. And with that Graveyard Foolish in the very early, it's an adult start, so it's the first thing that you see. You kind of go Zora's River as an adult. About half of the people went Zora's River as an adult, and that kind of burns you. Yeah, there's the hammer in Zora's River there, and as an adult, I personally went Zora's River as an adult, and it burned me, because right here, if you go as child, and you go into Zora's Domain, you get Hookshot, and the second thing that you get is, it's going to show up here in a second, and man, this really cooked a lot of people, and you can't really blame them. There's no reason to, but there's the boomerang. That was the go mode item for so many people, myself personally as well. So, you know, it is what it is, and I will say, we had a time here for the first place finish that was just absolutely insane. It's gonna be a name that you recognize. Qualifier number 7 was very nice to the top 10 players, I could tell you that much when it comes to points. In DC here, I believe this is Fora's Wind. You get Fora's Wind at the top of DC. This right here, I don't know. I don't remember what some of these items were. It was about a week ago that this qualifier happened, maybe about 6 days ago. It was last Tuesday. So I guess, yeah, it's about a week ago. But yeah, you get the slingshot and you get the magic too. I mean, Death Mountain Crater was path to Phantom Ganon, and it was kind of huge. It had strength, it had a bow. You get your hookshot. There's a strength. You get your hookshot fairly early if you go up domain or up river as a child. And you get the hammer, you get the strength, and you get the hookshot. You got a bow, you could go beat Forest. You needed to beat Deku, DC, Forest, Water, and Fire, I believe were the 5. Correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong there. I didn't put it in there, actually. But yeah, it was a pretty intense seed. It might have been Shadow. I don't remember. One of those, regardless. This is Strength 2, sitting right here. And yeah, it was a very fast seed. Strength 2 here in the toilet, and you had GTG to Queen Goma. So you get that Strength 2 and you're like, oh, okay, maybe it's Spirit. But you just keep going through, and here's Strength 2 locked. And I wonder what this chest is. This is go mode for a lot of people. So yeah, that's the Kokiri sword. So yeah, it was an insane seed nonetheless. And yes, look at, I mean, if you want, just look at the top names there. These make sense. But look at those finish times. You get a solid 129.28 from what the hell's happened with the 1071, sitting in second with a 133. Chuckles, who we pulled over here on the gameplay side, with a 136. And you kind of hit go mode like sub hour, you know, if everything goes well. Aosuna and Alexis, two top brunch runners. Aeronaut right there with them. Alpha with a really nice finish as well for them, with a 140. Double Decker, 141. This is one of the first times we've seen them in the top 10 here, and it's nice to see. Sanzu and Nice, I think it's Nice or Nice, with a 141, only 13 seconds apart, and this one's only 24 seconds apart. So yeah, really nice scores for the top 10. All of these scores right here would definitely be viable for top 32. When I'm looking at top 32, I'm looking at 950 plus realistically, and honestly a 948, Mr. Mario, Mafrucci, yeah, those are also pretty good, and could probably squeeze you up in that top 32. But we're only halfway done. We have 10 qualifiers to go through. I mean, we've got 4 on the highlights today, but 10 more and 3 more in this week. It's crazy. So let's go and move on over to the groups with the qualifier number 8. And qualifier number 8, we're actually going to highlight Master Alex, who was on Restream. And let me go and show that here. So let's go and roll it back to the beginning. So qualifier number 8, you start off very early on. There's the iron boots there in a crate, which I don't think even came into play. But a couple of things was there was a 50 skull bomb bag in this seed. And you get a hint early that Dins is on bomb shoot bowling. There's some bomb shoes right there, and bottom of the Zora's Fountain is Aurora's Win. So you kind of get an idea of what's going on in the seed. Spirit Trial has a hook shot. So that's a hook shot, locked hook shot there in Spirit Trial. So there's the mirror shield right there. About 10 minutes in, you get a, with your foolish hints, you get a bottom of the well foolish, and Storms is on Composer Grave, and Zelda's Lullaby is deep in this seed. I believe Zelda's Lullaby is sitting on Burning Kakariko check, and man, that when you get a ZL that deep, now this right here, that silver scale is pretty much what like opens up the seed, believe it or not. It gives you the movement that you need in the seed to be able to go into Zora's domain. There's the light arrows there. The hammer was actually hinted in Lake Hylia to Evil's Bane for those light arrows. And there's the boomerang right there as well. So what does that mean when you get a hammer with the lights in that specific spot? It means that hammer unlocks explosives. The like other explosives, or actually no, it doesn't. I'm sorry. That hammer specifically unlocks 2 strengths. Okay, because otherwise you could just go get 2 strengths and go get that light arrows, and that's not the case when you get the hammer specifically hinted to Evil's Bane. There is K-Sword in Jabul, and right behind Jabul is actually a hint right there. Jabu's belly is Path to Bongo, and I believe that is for the K-Sword to go get something in Deku. But that boomerang is also hinted path to Bongo Bongo as well. And I believe there were 3 Bongo Bongo hints here. So yeah, it was boomerang for ZL. So Jabul was on, you needed that boomerang to beat Jabul to get Zelda's Lullaby, and that, there's strength 2 right there. But to get that Zelda's Lullaby, so there were 3 Bongo hints, and Bongo was a one of the Shadow and Spirit medallions. There's Hovers right there. You did need 2 strengths to get that in Deep Spirit, and that right there is 20 for the hookshot. Yeah, so hookshot was sitting on 20, which is, I mean, come on, really? Hookshot's just sitting on 20. That's not very nice. So yeah, there's a bow on Link to Goron. There's a strength inside DC. There's also a strength on adult shooting in Kakariko, which surprise, there's the hammer unlocks the strength inside DC, and you could use that strength to do Link the Goron, to get the bow, to do the adult shooting, to get your strength too. Or you could use that strength in Fire Temple to go get the third strength or second strength inside of Fire Temple beyond the strength locked room. So yeah, Ocarina of Time, sit in Prelude of Light, so you didn't necessarily need to do AD. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Spirit was a stone, but Spirit made the most sense in this seed. There's the Rudo's Letter just sitting in the Kakaride Grotto. So that's pretty cool. Spirit is hinted path to Bongo Bongo, and there's a magic just sitting in Child Spirit, but there's also Din's sitting in Spirit on Adult Climb. Actually, no, it's not Din's. I'm sorry. That was definitely not Din's. That's one later down the line. Don't worry about that. The Kokiri Sword just sitting on a rain chest. So it was Jabul, path to Bongo for the Kokiri Sword to get Zelda's Lullaby, and it was Goron City, path to Bongo for the Boomerang to beat Jabul to get Zelda's Lullaby. The hovers were in Deep Spirit, and the hook on 20 Skulls. I mean, first hook on 20 Skulls, and a lot of players that put them straight up in Go mode. That's kind of insane. Imagine getting a 20 Skull hook for Go mode. All right. So what were the standings for this one? Yeah, great question. There's a familiar name up top here, and I don't even feel bad. Floosh coming in again with I think this is their third qualifier win. It's either that or they've just been up there so much. Floosh sitting up with a 1091, so close to a perfect 1100. With the 154.39, Alexis in second place with the 157.07. Those top two names right there are probably going to be fighting for that number one spot for the top 32. Just get used to it. Those top two names have been absolutely obliterating these qualifiers, and it's been insane to see. It's so crazy to go back and watch these guys because they've been killing it. Cola sitting in third place, huge with a 205, still about 10 minutes after first place and still getting over 1,000 points. That just tells you, what happened this seed. T-Riz going in fourth place, not a name that you typically see in the top 10. Killed it. Absolutely killed it. Very nice finish with a 988, very strong. Tensai. This is somebody that we talked about very early on. I believe a French Canadian runner who's been very much on the rise, and I've been watching them through pretty much everything. They were in one of my league groups, and ever since I was like, who is this person? Vidya James, they were on Restream, and I believe they were first on Restream, maybe not, I don't quite remember, but sixth place, very strong start, with a 968. What the hell's happened? Who won the last one? Finishing up in seventh place. So 2 top 10 finishes in a row. The 966. Marco, right after What the Hell's with a 213.25 with a 964. Not even 30 seconds afterwards. That's kind of insane. Seize, one of our, I believe it was season 6 runner-up versus Ryu Kane. 215.38 with the 953. In bulk, somebody that we talked about. Absolute insane finishes so far and has been putting up a harsh performance. And when I mean harsh, I absolutely mean been killing it. You've been seeing him in top 10. You know when he's racing because you just got to look at the top 10s. So yeah, absolutely insane finishes here with the top 10s. I can't put those numbers up. So honestly, all right, let's move on to the next one. Qualifier number 9. We're going to show Cola, who is on Restream. All right, Cola, show us what you got. That is not Cola. There we go. That is Cola. Maybe spoilers for later. Well, let's not worry about that. All right, let's go back to the beginning. This is the start. This is where you spawned in Hyrule Castle Ferry. Yeah, and then you get the Water Temple's foolish, Hyrule Castle foolish, you get Death Mountain Trail foolish, and Death Mountain Crater is Nocturne of Shadow. So yeah, this seed was, I mean, it wasn't terrible, but I did spoil something pretty early on. So yeah, there's the Iron Boots over there on the child shooting. We find out pretty early on that there's a hook on 40 skulls, and that's probably going to pop up here in a second right there. There's a hook shot on 40 skulls. 30 and 50 had technically stuff, but not really. There was like the Goron tunic and fire arrows. You don't need those. Don't even worry about it. This should be bomb bag right here. Yeah, so a couple of things about this seed that were kind of interesting. Early on, you get a Lake Hylia to Volvagia. And if you go to Lake Hylia, you see that there are hovers inside of the Rudo's letter position. This right here is Hookshot sitting on top of DC, or right on top of King Dodongo. Yeah, so, and then also early on, you get an Ice Cavern to Baronade, which is popping up right here in a second. Not this one, but the next one. There's the Lake Hylia to Volvagia, and the next one should be the Ice Cavern to Baronade. So, Ice Rushers rejoice, but unfortunately, it is directly hinted right after each other. Mido's house kind of stacked, not really. This should be lights and blue fire arrows. Yeah, so lights and blue fire arrows, and you know where fire arrows are, so you're not gonna go get those. GTG's path to Queen Goma. Yeah, it's just straight up for Kokiri Sword. We'll see it later down the line. You do get a Spirit to Bongo Bongo, and that is Magic, Strength, and Dins. All three of those just sitting in Bongo or in Spirit, and you could get two as a child, the Strength and the Magic, but the Dins was a lot of people's go modes, and it was pretty late on into the seed. Cola, I think that was the last thing that Cola gets here today. Serenade right there. Nothing crazy, but we do see a Magic on Child Spirit. Not right now, but a little bit later. That right there is the Hover Boots over in Lake Hylia. Goes to set that Grave. What do you got, Dampe? What do you got? I don't remember. Slingshot. Oh yeah, so now you could go actually do Spirit Temple. 10 was nothing. I just want to add that in there. Whenever I see like a 10 or 20 get turned in, I just want to add those in there. But yeah, so HBA. Look at that. Rudo's letter. I'm pretty sure it was required. I don't know. I didn't put the dungeons, but you also get the hammer. At this point in the seed, right here, where you get a strength on top, that is where you start thinking, oh, this might be a jet, because there's this right here, which is nothing. And deep over where the fire or where the hammerlock chest is, not the hammerlock chest, but the one next to it, this is where the Kokiri sword is. On the right side in GTG maze is the scale. And logically, it's required to have strength 2 to get those keys in the strength 2 room to get this. This is just for us, and this is, you gotta remember, this is path to Jabul, or path to Baronade, the boomerang. So that's why the runners had to go here. This should be the magic. Yeah, so not a crazy amount. I'm not trying to just list off items, but this is, it's not a crazy amount of logic to be thinking about, but when you get down to it, because Zelda's Lullaby is locked behind 3 dungeons to be completed, it really narrows the playing field, and at the end of the seed, it really just becomes Spirit Temple is what you should be going into, and that's where you get the Din's Fire. So yeah, that's pretty much the wrap up of this seed. Nothing crazy here, but these, oh, that is qualifier 8. This is qualifier 9 right here. First place, we got Angle. This is somebody, he got 11th in the last one, not quite top 10, but finishing off with a 151.47, 1048 qual points. Kind of insane. I believe this is their first win so far in the tournament. And Cola, who we showed here on the restream, finishing up in second place. I mean, it's Cola. If you know Cola, you know Cola. So, Just Sam finishing up in third place, another French Canadian, with a 158.03. Sponge finishing up 3 seconds later, 158.06. Marco, again, top 10, finishing with the 158.11. Really strong turnout. Somebody that you should probably just throw them in the top 32. If we didn't have to play qualifiers, if we were just picking names, he'd definitely be a name there that you just, okay, yeah, guaranteed top 32. Let's Clay, first time in the top 10. Actually, first time I've seen them race. I'm not sure if this is their first one overall. Aosuna, we saw them there in qualifier number 7. So 2 top 10 finishes here. You got Nice again with the top 10 finish, finishing in 8th place, 204.02. Ink, or Inca Cola, finishing with 204.36. These are all 950 pluses, even the number 10. Halo finishing 951. So that's where the 950 stopped off right there. I mean, just pretty powerful finishes. If you're getting top 10, you're not guaranteed a 950, but if you are trying to shoot for top 32, realistically, you should be looking for 950 plus. And if you want to know what a 950 plus looks like, this is a perfect example. You should probably be hitting top 10 in every single race. That's what you should be shooting for. Obviously, you can only do so much. You could only logic so much. You can only execute so much. And at the end of the day, you put your all into your seed. That's all you can do. But yeah, that's what our runners are looking at right now. Let's go and move on over to qualifier 10. So this is the one that I went ahead and did commentary today, and just from the top of my head, man, what are we doing? What are we doing? We've got Fabio today. Fabio, please do us a favor and show us the start here. So you start with the minuet. You start as child market with the minuet is actually like kind of like really nice, you know. So you get a Kokiri Forest Foolish, you get a Goron City is Foolish. You know that Sacred Forest Meadows Song of Storms, that was on the adult side. Nothing too crazy here to start with. Skulls, absolutely dead. 10 and 20, I don't even think we saw those during the race. So no skulls whatsoever. You could get away with not collecting a single skull in this seed. We did have to do fire, water, shadow. I do believe DC and spirit and Deku. Yeah, so DC, spirit, and Deku. There's the Song of Storms. So the start, honestly, this seed was very linear from the start. On Restream, there's a Hyrule Field to Queen Goma. You did get 5 chews very quickly. There's a Forest to Twin Rova. That's going to come up here. Not right now, but you get 5 bomb chews. And honestly, how you use those 5 bomb chews that you received on Dampe Race right there determines how the next, like, 45 minutes goes. If you took those bomb chews and went into Hyrule Field, which I believe Fabio is doing right now, there's the Sacred Forest Meadow path to Morpha. It was a wallet. That is not what Fabio is doing right now. That wallet was logically required. There is the Kokiri Sword, and that was in Hyrule Field Scrub Grotto. Right next to it was a big pill bottle. It was nothing. You don't have to worry about that. But in Remote Grotto, this was huge. Especially for players who didn't get bomb bag early, you get 20 more bomb chews right then and there. Some people use their last bomb chew there. There's bomb bag. So everything's in logic. Don't get me wrong. I thought this was cool. Fabio went and did a skull mask completely unhinted and then instantly got the hint afterwards. Inside Deku, there's a strength. And this should be a claim check, I believe, but the claim check is hinted dead. At the time, I didn't know that claim check was unhinted dead or hinted dead, but whatever. Yeah, who cares? This is one of those new hints that we actually don't see on a regular basis. But so in Hyrule Field, there is a hook shot on Tektite, and Fabio isn't very happy about that. But there's a hook shot, so you at least know where your hook shot is. You have a bow. Actually, you don't have a bow yet. Fabio will get a bow very soon. Not right here. This is irons. This gets you your hook shot. And very next check is bow. So you get the bow in this right here, and you also find out some very vital information. Ocarina of Time is Requiem of the Spirit. Okay, we've got enough knowledge at this point. We could start piecing things together. We got a bow, we got a hook shot, we got strength. We have a forest, Way of the Hero, or we have a forest path to Twin Rova. So what do you do as soon as you get that strength, the bow, and the hook shot? You already beat DC, you go in the forest. The very first check is strength 2. Okay, do you go further? Most players did, and they did Courtyard Loop just to make sure there wasn't anything else in there. But you could also just go and take that hook shot, go over to Death Mountain Crater, just like Fabio did, get the opponent's song, cross, and crossing gave you long shot, and eventually the hovers. I don't think that's what this is right here. No, that's Ruto's letter. So, Death Mountain Crater had an opponent's song, which gave you Ruto's letter, hammer, long shot. That's a lot of stuff that is locked by opponents. It also, you were required to cross to get Zelda's Lullaby. So Zelda's Lullaby is also locked behind opponent's song. Why am I saying all of this? Well, the reason why I'm saying all that is, oh, there's hovers, yeah, which is long shot locked. So it's like, you know, the opponents just locked everything. The reason why I'm saying all that is when you get to the very end of the seed, if you go upriver, you get a Death Mountain Crater, is Path to Evil's Bane. What did you get in Crater? Well, there's a magic in Crater. Is it just magic locked? No. Light arrows are Zelda's Lullaby locked in bottom of the well. And there's the Dins. That was the go mode. Those two items were the go mode for most players. This qualifier absolutely destroyed a large amount of players. Specifically, those two items right there. The Dins and the Lights completely destroyed this seed. And most players ran into this issue where they were looking for both items. They kind of knew where lights were, but they just knew they were locked behind opponents, which unlocked everything. You could do Jabul, you could do Deep Fire, you could do Ice. Where do you go? Back to bottom of the well? Hyrule Castle Fairy? Yes, they're both ZL locked, but you have no idea that the path is directly hinting opponent's song for one of 5 things that you get from crossing. So what did that do to the final scores? Well, we had something happen that I have personally never witnessed during a qualifier. We got a perfect score. Angle finishing in first place 2 qualifiers in a row with an 1100. That is the maximum amount of qualifier points you could possibly get. If Angle wasn't already looking in contention for top 32, Angle is definitely now in contention for top 32 and is resounding because of it. First place with the 154.28, second place with a 159.43, Marco coming in with 1073 points. 1073 is what you normally see for first place. Look at third place. FCS, still 991 qual points with a 211. 15 minutes. Is it 15? 15, 16, I can't count. Hold on. 17 minutes. I literally could not count. 17 minutes after first. Third comes in with still almost 1,000 qualifier points. This is insane. Just Sam, another top 10 finish, another top 5 finish with a 212, 984. Bailnog finishing top 5. This is my first time seeing him in top 10. I don't believe we've covered him before. with a 212.53 with a 983 qual points. Fabio, who is on Restream, 215, coming in 6th place with 971 qual points. Even though that is 26 or 21 minutes away from first place. Is it 21? I literally can't count. Still 971 qual points. Flea finishing top 7 with a 217 with 960 qual points. Sea Falcon with a 959. Rock Shock, Mr. Martin 220 and a 221, finishing with a 947, 945. You could, I mean, if you just take a glance at the bottom, 24th place with a 731. Look at the difference just in 20 placements. This seed destroyed a lot of people, rightfully so. A lot of players ran into the issue, okay, if I find lights, I could go into Ganon's castle. And if I go into Ganon's castle, I could go pick up blue fire and then make Ice Cavern really easy. I could grab King Zora along the way and go check Ice Cavern afterwards. Or if they get Dins, they go and push Shadow, which is not nearly as bad. They don't find lights in Shadow, and then they're back to square one. Where do I go? Deep Fire? Ganon's, or you can't go into Ganon's castle. Do I go Deep Fire? Do I go Ice? This seed was insane. You could also go and finish, you could do AD. It wasn't logical AD to finish, but you could do AD and get strength 3 on Child Spirit. I couldn't believe this seed. I really couldn't. There was a gold scale in Jabul, which was a stone. This seed definitely broke a lot of runners, and it broke me. And I was commentating with Kyrie. I felt so bad for the runners. I think they did a wonderful job. I think I wouldn't have done any better than them whatsoever. I would have made the same decisions. And honestly, that's just, I've got to dub this as probably one of the worst seeds for Season 8. Yeah, this is qualifier number 10 is probably one of the worst seeds in Season 8. What do the overall standings look like? We're at a point where overall standings are starting to shape up and things start to look realistic. Alexis is currently in first, completely done with races. They've done all 8. Any races they do after this will not count. Alexis is in first with a 40-52 total. 3 1,000 finishes. That top 1071 is not going to be counted. But a 1039, a 1030, a 992, and a 991, it doesn't get much better than that. That's probably one of the most, I'm not sure what Season 7 looked like off the top of my head. I could go check. But that is, Alexis is going to be in contention with first place the entire time. Angle, who just got 2 top first place finishes, and those are his 2 best scores currently, with an 1100 and a 1048, sitting at 3964. Angle has probably solidified themselves as a top 5 player in this season. Marco, 3rd place, completely done with qualifiers with a 1073, and then very high 900s with a 3945 in the final. Cola in 4th place. All 8 have been completed with a 1016, 1002, Very, very high 900s. Say, same thing, completely done, has done all 8. 3862. Mr. Mario has done 7 out of 8. No 1000s, but very high 900s. Keeping a solid score there. Zavi, Season 7 champion of last year. Finishing, currently has 7 races completed. With 2 1000s. Has a low score of 890. Can knock that 890 off. And potentially drop down one of these 1000s to be counted. Volk. Volk still has 2 more races. Be on the lookout. Can drop the 913. Can add another 1000 if they get up there. Flea. No 1000s, but still in the 3700s. Still very, very possible that this is where the top 32 ends, is around the 3700s. So I'm going to say the top 10 here with Flea and Exodus. They're not necessarily safe, but 3700s are very good contention for keeping the top 32 status. Everything after that is, honestly, if you've got 3600s, you need to keep playing. I would keep playing. If you can make more qualifiers, I would keep playing, because you're going to have to start knocking off some of those lower scores. Honestly, this is a pretty solid top 10. And I'd say this top 10 right here is solidified in the top 32 right here. Exodus, Alexis all the way down to Exodus. These are probably solidified in our top 32. But there are so many players that have not done their qualifiers yet. There's players that haven't done more than 2 qualifiers that I would consider in the top 10, let alone the top 32. So this is going to change, but I do believe they're going to stay up there. Everybody else, good luck. I'm going to be rooting for you. I'm going to be watching. I'm going through every single race, every single VOD. I'm going through every single qualifier. And I hope to bring you guys the next week on with the weekly wrap up. It's been fun. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much. I'm doing my absolute best to take the feedback coming in and to turn it into something that is enjoyable. So if you have any recommendations, any feedback, please, you could message me personally, or you could drop it below. You could pop in a stream and say something. I'll take it pretty well. I don't take things very personally. You can be as harsh as you want to. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. We're going to get up out of here, and I will see you guys on Thursday. Oh, let's go over the schedule real quick. Just real quick. We got 3 qualifiers. Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got Saturday, qualifier 12, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, qualifier 13. I will see you there. You better be there. Go check out the restreams. Those were fun. See ya.